The second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Barrister Monday Ubani, has declared the ruling All Progressives Congress and the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration as a failure, saying they would be changed in 2019. Ubani, a die-hard supporter and admirer of Buhari, said this in a post hours after a letter by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, in a lengthy letter to Buhari, asked the latter to withdraw from the 2019 race if he had any prior interest. Ubani however said his position was not because Obasanjo spoke, but because the APC and its officials and government at the center failed to change and refused to effect their promises to Nigerians. Nigerians will change in 2019 not because former President Obasanjo said so, but because the agent of change failed, refused and/or neglected to effect the change that should have changed the lives of the people for the better. Simple. Let no one take any accidental glory, he said. Former President Obasanjo's letter to President Muhammadu Buhari was long expected and, for coming now, I will say it is even belated. Recall that former President Obasanjo has written such letters to virtually everyone that took over from him, and if you will remember, such letters were even written to former military leaders like Habibi and Abaka. Such scathing and virulent attacks on leaders before and after him are therefore not novel. What is novel is that he did not initiate the attack on President Buhari timeously, due to some personal reasons known to him. However, former President Obasanjo should not allow this idea to get into his head that he has become the power and principality that will always determine the political direction of Nigeria. Nigerians should always know when they are tired of any government and should determine the fate of their leaders, including President Buhari if at all he decides to contest in 2019, and when they so decide it is not because former President Obasanjo instructed them but because they are tired of the change. My humble take about Nigeria is that the destiny of Nigeria should not be seen to be in the hands of these supposed powers and principalities of Nigerian politics but in the hands of the majority of Nigerians who must always have their way. That is the way for us to go, and it is my dream for my dear country. Nigerians will not reject President Buhari in 2019 because former President Obasanjo said so, but because President Buhari may have wittingly or unwittingly rejected Nigerians. He alone by now should know his status with Nigerians. A word is enough for the wise, he also told the nation. We earlier reported how former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, spoke in Abia on Tuesday, January 24, describing the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, as government of amateur politicians that lack the power to unite Nigerians. Lamido, who resigned the presidential seat in the 2019 election and on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, wondered if Nigeria was more secured 3 years after his party lost to the Buhari administration. The report said Lamido's campaign council visited Governor Olusegun and the leadership of the PDP in the state, with the former governor asking if Nigeria was more united now than in the period the PDP ruled the country.